and let us all do we can to build a better future.
Interpretation. Corporate media got a huge boost in the 2016 primary and general election. Now, many of you might be wondering, well, wait a minute, kid, what are you talking about? Corporate media is an established authoritative source. Why would they ever need a boost? It's because that entire environment was dying, dead. Nobody was tuning in to CNN or MSNBC. To be fair, Fox News, as it is still now, even though all of corporate media is hemorrhaging, was in the lead. The media needed something. The media needs something spicy. They needed something for a quick fix. And that person was Donald Trump. That orange Cheeto gave them that orange Cheeto line, and they just got hooked. They were addicted. And to be fair here, because of that, corporate media, especially CNN, MSNBC, and the rest of the establishment media, kept on promoting the ridiculous connection of Russiagate, Trump, and everything that Trump was doing 24/7. But now, I think all of a sudden, corporate media is trying to break its fix. They're no longer addicted to the Trump momentum, which I find quite hilarious because corporate media is an addict. But right now, they're trying to do something different. And I want to pull up this tweet here from Jimmy Dore, the greatest of the great from Chicago. Corporate news treats Americans like absolute morons. You see, you can't handle watching a politician give a speech because he might lie and it might infect your brain. Then you might vote wrong. Rachel Maddow's brain is not susceptible to political lies, so she will watch it for you, then let you know if there's anything you need to know from the speech. This is really happening, and the people who watch corporate news are buying it. Rachel Maddow, wait a minute. You're consuming a Trump speech and you're not informing the people what's going on? Whether you like him or not, Donald Trump is running for the 2024 Republican nomination. And now we have Rachel Maddow dictating to her viewing audience that I'll watch it for you and tell you what to think. So here, I'm going to share this video with all of you. And all of you need to realize that the establishment media is designed to dictate to you what to think and how to feel. People like Rachel Maddow, people like Jake Tapper, everyone across the establishment media empires view you, the American people, as morons. They feel that you cannot come to your own conclusions. Now, we here at Independent Media, we here at Hard Lens Media, give you the stories. And you know what? I expect all of you to come to your own conclusions, to come up with your own facts and ascertain what you see here. But there's one thing that cannot be denied. The establishment media is designed to keep you in the dark and not inform you about what is going on.
I need to say that former President Trump has just started making public remarks, just as he did on the evening of his first arraignment on criminal charges. That was April, when he was booked on 34 felony counts brought by the state of New York. Now, tonight, after his arraignment on federal felony charges, he's speaking again, this time to an audience of his supporters that's gathered for a campaign fundraiser tonight at his golf club and summer home in New Jersey. We knew heading into this that he was planning to make these remarks. We are prepared for his pre-fundraiser remarks tonight to again be essentially a Trump campaign speech.
Which is to be expected. This is politics 101, Rachel. Come on, Rachel. I know you need that quick fix of Russiagate. You need that boost of Donald Trump. I mean, let's face it. New cars and boats don't buy themselves. And after all, you journalists, I mean the talent, at DSDNC, that was your bread and butter from 2016 up to 2020. Hell, even after the Trump presidency, all what you guys and gals at MSNBC and CNN and across the board, all what you could talk about is Trump. And now he's back. You know you need that quick fix.
Because of that, we do not intend to carry these remarks live. As we have said before in these circumstances, there is a cost to us as a news organization to knowingly broadcast untrue things.
But you guys did that in 2016, even focusing your cameras on an empty podium. Don't worry. They'll get back to their habit. They're too addicted to Trump.
are here to bring you the news. It hurts our ability to do that if we live broadcast what we fully expect in advance to be a litany of lies and false accusations, no matter who says them. And I do not say this.
Hold on. I got to acknowledge this in the live stream chat, and I think Salty Digital Dive, you win. God damn, that face could wake the dead. I needed coffee, not Rachel. Pour some whiskey in your coffee, buddy, just so you could burn that memory out of your head.
With any glee, I hope it is clear that this is not a glib decision. We take our responsibilities seriously. We revisit decisions like this all the time. We make the best call that we can in real time, every time. But
the best call? Really? See, this Trump indictment, as I've said before, is just one big, old distraction.
Tonight, our call is this. We will monitor that speech by the newly indicted former president. We will not carry his remarks live. If he says anything newsworthy, we promise we will turn that right around and bring it back to you.
Oh, wow. Thank you for telling us how to think and how to feel. But you know what? That's why there's independent media. That's why there are true people out there who speak truth to power. Here, let's just get a little excerpt of what was happening at that speech. I want to give a huge shout out to Turncoat Don, who was able to get this video from the Jimmy Dore Show, talking about Trump and so much more. Here, let's play it.
We witnessed the most evil and heinous abuse of power in the history of our country. Very sad thing to watch. A corrupt sitting president had his top political opponent arrested on fake and fabricated charges of which he and numerous other presidents would be guilty, right in the middle of a presidential election in which he is losing very badly. This is called election interference and yet another attempt to rig and steal a presidential election. More importantly, it's a political persecution like something straight out of a fascist or communist nation. This day will go down in infamy, and Joe Biden will forever be remembered as not only the most corrupt president in the history of our country, but perhaps even more importantly, the president who, together with a band of his closest thugs, misfits, and Marxists, tried to destroy American democracy.
Trump. All right. I hear what you're saying. But let's make a little quick correction. Trump, you were no better, okay? And Biden being a Marxist, I know that's an easy word to use, especially amongst the Republican establishment. But Joe Biden is as corporate as it can get. Hell, Obama was as corporate as they can get. It's easy. It's easy for a lot of these Republican politicians to use socialist, communist, Marxists in the Democratic Party when all of the Democrats, they're not that. I mean, hell, they're all doing insider trading. They're not that at all. But it's an easy word to use. Not to mention Trump. Last I checked, you were pretty important in setting the, dangerous situation that everyone who believes in free speech, from Republican voters, libertarians, Greens, socialists, by going after Julian Assange and actually letting your own advisors dictate to you what to do to that man. And if he's ever extradited here to the States, that's bye-bye free speech. And we could thank Donald Trump for being played like a fool for helping incarcerate award-winning journalist, speaker of truth to power, Julian Assange. That's what you did, Trump. You're no saint. You're no saint. And you helped contribute to that. And the Biden-Harris administration is continuing on where you left off. Isn't that brilliant?
So, boy, when he's right, huh? And boy, is he right. He is right. And that is exactly what's happening. And this is unprecedented because they said that if Trump did this to his opponents, it would be the end of democracy. Well, they're doing it to their political opponents. So this is the thing that everyone's supposed to be. Remember January 6th, everybody's, democracy. Well, it's over. Trump is 100% right. Joe Biden is doing things that third world dictators do. And they're the one doing. They said Trump was going to do this. They said Trump was going to lock up his political opponents when he became president, and now that's what Joe Biden's doing. When Joe Biden's losing an election to him, he had one more thing to say about the deep state. Watch this. He's not fucking around Trump anymore. Watch this.
Now, the thing is, I will give Trump credit for this. He is calling out the establishment. He is calling out the fact that the establishment has control over social media and so much more, especially over corporate media. But again, Trump, you set up an administration that was going to supposedly drain the swamp. You surrounded yourself with people part of the Bush-Cheney administration. These people were as neoliberal as they could get. And they thought they control you like they controlled good old W. Now, that didn't happen. Now, all the people who you helped, from DeSantis to Nikki Haley, all of your nearest and dearest closest advisors, hell, even good old Mike Pence, all going against you. I hope this serves as a lesson to you. You brought that on yourself. And before everyone starts saying, oh, wow, especially diehard Trump supporters, before all of you start saying that your guys are going to be the dude to restore America, it's because of his stupid ability to surround himself with advisors that told him that going after Assange would be the correct thing to do. It's because of him. Free speech could potentially be put on a chopping block because he let others fool him and control him into going after Assange. Again, never forget that Trump helped contribute to that. And at one point, yes, Trump also used to be a Democrat and donated to a lot of these Democratic politicians. Remember the wise words of George Carlin. It's one big club, my lovelies, and you ain't in it. He didn't add in the lovelies part, but I did. But hey, diehard Republican voters, diehard Democratic voters, congratulations, you're being played. You're falling for the secret sauce. Vote for the two-party system and get screwed over.
When I'm reelected, and we will get reelected, we have no choice. We're not going to have a country anymore. I will totally obliterate the deep state. We will obliterate the deep state. And we know who they are. I know exactly who they are.
Now, one other thing here, too, because I think we are being distracted. Something is happening. What is happening in the sidelines that, well, it's causing many of Americans to not pay attention to the bigger picture? Because this Trump indictment, there's two ways this works out. Trump wins, and he has a treasure trove of political ammunition to go after the Democratic establishment, and yes, even the Republican establishment. Trump, unlike Bernie Sanders and AOC, he fights for his supporters, and he shows up. Now, again, Trump is, part of that two-party system. He would be foolish not to use all the advantages should he win. The second way this plays out is that, well, now that this Pandora's box has been opened, that means vote blue no matter who. All of your most lovely favorite politicians, such as Biden, Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, Obama, can now be, again, attacked the same way they are going after Trump. And this is how an empire declines. Politicians, oligarchs, having their little fun back and forth. But what's the bigger story that's being ignored here? I want to pull up this video here just to trigger the vote blue no matter who crowd, because they deserve to be triggered. It's from RT. Let's talk about the story that's being ignored.
Well, as the case against Trump is underway, a Republican senator has accused Washington of double standards, and that's by ignoring accusations against President Joe Biden, demanding that a series of incriminating audio tapes be made public.
The foreign national possesses 15 audio recordings of phone calls between him and Hunter Biden. According to the 1023, the foreign national possesses 2 audio recordings of phone calls between him and then Vice President Joe Biden. These recordings were allegedly kept as a sort of insurance policy for the foreign national in case that he got into a tight spot. Congress still lacks a full and complete picture with respect to what that document really says. That's why it's important that the document be made public without unnecessary redactions for the American people to see.
That's right. I think it's important that we talk about what's being covered up because let's face it, especially amongst the Democratic voting bloc, your politicians are corrupt. Joe Biden has been in this business for years. He has been on the wrong side of history. That's right, Bernie. I'm talking about your good friend, Joe Biden. Your friend, Joe Biden. You two were on actually opposite ends during the civil rights movement. I don't know if you remember that, Bernie, but your friend, Joe Biden, was against busing and desegregation while you were being arrested, standing with civil rights protesters. Your friend, Joe Biden, was working with, people like Strom Thurmond and other Republican segregationists. That's what your friend, Joe Biden, was doing. And all this talk about how Joe Biden's better than Trump, Joe Biden helped implement a lot of the neoliberal policies that we're in. See, Trump's only new to the game. He was a donor, of course, but he didn't implement policy. Joe Biden helped implement and write a lot of devastating policies amongst working class citizens. It's easy. Like, I'm going to keep on saying this. It's easy to vilify Trump. And Trump is a buffoon and a bad guy. He's not the overall bad guy. It's easy to vilify him. He's the cartoon villain, hiding the shadows, twirling his mustache. But sometimes the greatest of evils hides in the light and tells you things you want to hear and gives you a smile and a pat on the head. Beware, folks. Evil and fascism comes in all forms, not like an orange Cheeto or a white bald skinhead guy. Sometimes it comes in different forms too. Keep your heads on a swivel.
Well, it's alleged the recordings that are under investigation link Biden to the sacking of a Ukrainian prosecutor. The US president is also accused of threatening to withdraw $1 billion in US military aid to Kiev if investigations into the Ukrainian oil company Burisma, which is where his son Hunter was on the board of directors, were not brought to an immediate end. The alleged incidents took place when Biden was vice president. FBI Director Christopher Wray is also under the spotlight. He's accused of heavily censoring the unclassified but incriminating tapes. The House Committee on Oversight and Accountability threatened to hold Wray in contempt of Congress after he ignored its subpoena. The talk show host Steve Malzberg believes Trump's indictment was pushed to cover up new allegations of Joe Biden's corruption scandal.
The timing of the announcement of the indictment was about covering up the news that broke on the same day that, there were documents that existed and phone records that existed, phone calls that allegedly have Joe Biden and his son Hunter talking to Burisma officials about getting the prosecutor in Ukraine at the time fired. And allegedly they got paid $5 million apiece for doing that. So I think the timing was designed to get that out of the way and make sure that Biden story wasn't covered at all. But I think ultimately this indictment was going to happen. They've been working on it for a long time. If there is, in fact, bribery that took place, I think it puts a whole different take on our support for Ukraine. It calls a lot into question, and not the least of which is Joe Biden's survival in the presidency, as far as being impeached and removed from office, possibly. So I think we have to keep an eye on that.
Again, I didn't want to pause because I wanted that video to play out. There is so much happening that's being ignored by the mainstream press. Now, again, you're not going to hear BSDNC or CNN or the New York Times talk about that. But again, going case in point was the Hunter Biden laptop story. They did say that it was fake. In 2020, you couldn't share that post on Twitter or on Facebook, only for us to find out a few years later that the story was true and that both Facebook and Twitter were approached by government agencies to make sure that you, the American voter, the average American citizen, would not be informed about Hunter Biden's laptop or all the other scandals surrounding Joe Biden and his administration. Turns out the Saint Joe Biden is just as capable of doing many corrupt things as Donald Trump. To which I have to say, hey, activists, community organizers, Social justice warriors, where are you right now? Why are you so silent? Oh, that's right, because you've been hypnotized and brainwashed to think that it's all about Trump, that Trump is the villain of our time. There's a good chance, like I said, that Trump will walk away, but everyone's being distracted by the Trump indictment. That's one big distraction. And should he win, he's going to come back stronger, just like a Super Saiyan. You knock them out, but they come back twice as strong. That's going to be Donald Trump. And I know it's funny to make that comparison, but we have seen this so many times where the DNC, vote blue no matter who crowd keep on saying, Trump, the walls are closing in. And then he slips on out and comes back again and again. They're acting like the Wile E. Coyote going after the Roadrunner. All the while, is anyone talking about the scandals surrounding Joe Biden and his administration? The corruption that's going on, the fact that we still have a ridiculous ongoing war that's happening in Ukraine where people are dying, billions of dollars being wasted. Where is the relief for the American people? Where's the money for our infrastructure? Affordable education? I don't know, Medicare for all? Student debt forgiveness? By the way, crowd, everybody who's watching, the kids are still in cages. Hey, Rob Reiner, you going to get in your car and help out those kids? No, probably not. Madness and stupidity is happening. And this election cycle, beware of these stories that will distract you, because the video I played from RT, that's happening in the background. Let's have democracy in the chat. Did you know a story like that was taking place? Be honest. Type 1 for, oh, geez. No. How come no one's not talking about this? This is really newsworthy. This Biden-Harris administration is riddled with scandals. A type 2 of like, yes, I did, but no one's paying attention. I have to just say this, folks. This election cycle will intensify. And I urge all of you to not follow the words of CNN or MSNBC or listen to the likes of Rachel Maddow, where they're going to tell you how to think and how to feel. Think for yourselves and break away from neoliberalism. It's up to all of us to do our own research. Yes, I'm going to tell you to do your own research. Why? Because you have a sovereign right to figure things out and also sift through the crap that is being presented to you by corporate media. That's why independent media is here, and unfortunately, independent media is being censored. Hopefully, we get to a time where we don't live in that world. Until then, folks, keep your heads on the swivel. In 2024, it's just going to get more crazier. And we're still in 2023, by the way, folks. That's how insane this all is.